Welcome back. Bordas and Bordas Hotline of the Nightly Sports Call. Join us tonight for the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. Panel tonight, Andrew Filipponi, Will Graves, and Colin Dunlap. And right now we are going out and be joined by Rich in Pittsburgh. Rich, how you doing?
Good. How you been?
I'm good, thank you.
What I don't understand is when the Steelers are 3rd and 15, 3rd and 18 like they were today, Le'Veon Bell isn't running the ball effective. Who's calling the play that they do not go for a pass when you need that much yardage?
Well, that's either the offensive coordinator or the quarterback. They both have a say in what goes on. So I'm not sure how that goes. I don't think you'll ever get the answer to that, but they both have a role in the play calling.
But that baffles me. I don't understand the logic in it.
Well, it depends. Sometimes if you're in those situations and in field goal range, you may want to take the yardage just to increase your chances of making the field goal, or go for it depending on down and distance. I think that has a big part of what goes on there. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate the call. Let's go out to line 1. That's Eric in Katanning. Eric, welcome to our program. How are you?
I'm good, Bob. How are you?
Good, thanks.
I had a question about that fumble by Frank Gore that I think Shazier forced.
Right. Vince Williams, it looked like forced it, or one of the two. But it was a fumble, and it shouldn't have been called forward progress.
Yeah, I agree, because honestly, when it came to a fumble that wasn't even near the first down marker, I didn't know that forward progress had anything to do with it, because I honestly didn't even know that there was a rule. I was just curious to maybe if you knew what the rule was, because I thought it should have been challengeable. But
well, it's a judgment call. I think, first of all, those kind of plays, officials should not make a judgment call until the play is over. Those guys are big boys. They're fighting for extra yards sometimes. There is no forward progress. That's one of the last resort things I would have made. Let the play go. You can always go back and review it, but when it's a judgment call like that, you cannot review it, and that's what I think Mike Tomlin was upset about. He threw the challenge flag, but he knew that there was no way that was going to be. He wanted to bring him over and say that. Come on, man, you can't make that call, but they did. Yeah. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Line 4. It's Connie. Hello, Connie. Are you there? Well, I don't know what happened to Connie. She was there. Let's try Jim in Uptown. Hey, Jim, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Okay, what's up?
So there was a lot of missed tackles tonight.
Yes, especially in the first half. Go ahead.
So we had a lot of missed tackles tonight. I mean, so many missed tackles. And how do you rectify that?
You wrap them up. I mean, it's a simple thing. I think positioning technique-wise, they overran a lot of stuff. When you're in a position to allow a defender or allow a running back specifically to get in a position that he can slide off of you, and that happened quite a bit. That's no excuse. They need to wrap him up better than that. They just did not do that. Brad in Duncansville joins us now on the Nightly Sports Call. Hey, Brad.
Hi, Bob. How are you, buddy?
All right, what's up?
I wanted to give my 2 comments about the Steelers game today.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Steelers need to get better on defense instead of giving up big plays if they're going to beat New England. And the offense needs to start protecting Ben more. What do you think?
Well, they've done a pretty good job for most of the season. They only had 10 sacks coming into this game. And it wasn't under that much pressure today. I think this is the first time we've seen 2 touchdown passes of over 50 yards in the same game against them. By and large, they've kept the play in front of them defensively. These injuries can affect what we've seen in that secondary. We'll keep an eye on that as they go along. But, overall, I think their pass defense has been relatively good. Today is the exception to that. I wouldn't classify it as that. But against Detroit, for example, they didn't allow an offensive touchdown in that game in terms of pass defense. So that's a good news situation there. Long way to go yet. We have this from Twitter. Ryan Palonis says, why doesn't the league look into the Packers and Patriots tight end situation? And in case you missed that, Martellus Bennett with Green Bay, the doctors there wanted to take a look at him after they thought he was injured. He said no, wouldn't allow it. And so that is cause for firing or removal of your team, and that's exactly what they did. And what happened? Just quickly thereafter, scooped up by Bill Belichick, who once had him, and guess what? He's in their lineup tonight. So they worried about an injury in Green Bay. He wouldn't allow them to look at it, and now he ends up in New England. I think the NFL should look into that kind of stuff, given the history that Bill Belichick and that team has had over the years. Raised eyebrow, absolutely. SMH, shaking my head, absolutely. You'd have to look into that. We got to take a break, come back with more right after this on Pittsburgh CW.